fucking view.
If there's one thing I know for sure, it's that I know nothing. Podcast with your hosts, Andy and Ethan.
What's going on?
Tadaima, cocksuckers.
You have a bunch of V-card wannabes out there. Holy fuck, dude. Trying to fucking start this show today, guys. It's fucking like, you know, it's like the one-armed guy bowling. You know what I mean? Like
we originally agreed 10:30. So let's break it down. So we originally agreed to do.
Let's break this shit down.
Let's do 10:30 Eastern time, right? So I tell Andy, I get everything set up by 10:30 ish, like about 10:35, right? And I'm like, oh, it's up, Andy. Actually, I'll let you know right now. When the fuck was it? 10:32. I told you. Stream is up. Okay, you don't come in till about fucking 10:45. And so I was taking my time because I'm in the midst of trying to combine Apple IDs because there's no such thing on Apple. And fucking, so I'm like, all right, I have two IDs. I have a primary ID, but unfortunately, it's not the one that like is my primary right now. So I had to merge everything over. I've been doing that for the last 2 hours since about 9 o'clock Eastern time. And fucking, like, I'm now at a decent point. Like, we're about to start, and I was like, oh shit, my Apple Cache. Had to go and fucking get my other phone, sign into the Apple Cache, and then I'm like, wait, let me see if I could save my contacts, right? Because I have a bunch of contacts I was missing. And I did that, and fucking now, like, all right, we're good there. And I accidentally uploaded my contacts elsewhere on some shit. And I'm like, well, goddamn it. It's been a whole fucking rigmarole. But hey, you know, we're in a decent spot now, Papa. For now. I'll bitch about something later on the podcast.
Yeah, dude. We're in a decent spot for now. Yeah, dude. Thanks for that. Hey, riveting breakdown, riveting intro. Fucking.
Hey, it's what we're doing. Hey, you're dealing with snow. I'm dealing with my phone shit over here.
Yeah. Compare your phone shit to my snow, bro. I fucking the years of stress on my face is from fucking.
It's because you're half white. Be honest.
Well, there's that too. That definitely well. In there. Those Germans don't age well.
Indians that age well, and the Germans that age like shit.
Germans don't age
well. Now you age normally. Now, when you add the stress, now you're starting to look like a turd got stepped on by a fucking bear.
Or a Russian or American or British or, you know, pick one of the allies. Hey, but no, the show got off to a fucking monumentally fucking NASA type of start, not X-Space type of start, dude. You know what I mean? We're working on government funding there for the first 30 minutes. But no, I was late. And then fucking got on, and then as I came on, Ethan was in the middle of this transfer, dude. And I'm sitting here, and he's just like, "Okay, we're good." And then fucking boom, another thing would come up. Okay, we're good. And then you finished it. You transferred all your contacts.
Yeah, and you know, while I'm here,
you go, just for shits and giggles, let me check my contacts. He checks his contacts. Boom, they all fucking doubled on him.
But thank you for iCloud because you can merge everything together. So it merged 172. Now I'm up
and so then he took an additional fucking 5 minutes to fucking let it unduplicate and unfuck itself.
No, I'm just really anal about shit like that.
It was 3 minutes, but you know, yeah. So we're here. We got here. We got through Apple problems. We got through my snow problems. We might lose power. I hope we don't, but
that's not on me.
It's been snowing like a motherfucker. We get record snow over here. And
warming, bro.
It's we've had actually drought for like 20 fucking years, so it's actually a good thing. And it's actually how snow used to be here like 20, 30 years ago, apparently.
So is the snow really gonna? All right, so for the mountain folk, I'm sure that probably will work out. But for the rest of the state that has drought, what is that looking like?
It's really good. I mean, you want like like the majority of your like you're in a place where your water comes from mostly from the ground, I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
from the
You know what I mean?
aquifers
Like
down here.
that's where everybody's water comes from.
Yeah.
But the ground, you like your stuff is probably like replenished by like rivers and stuff like that and natural lakes and stuff around like Florida and shit. Whereas like most of California is like that too, but a lot of California and most of like Sierra Nevada, it's all like the aqueducts and shit here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Underground. And all that shit gets fed by the mountain ranges and shit. So all the snowpack and all that shit up there, as it melts and shit, it flows down to the rivers and fills up all the reservoirs and shit. And so it's real good for it to rain, for it to snow, rain like this, but it's not, we're not used to having this much shit. And yeah, it's fucking snowed us in, and then we got stuck twice. I broke chains on my car.
Dude,
I literally broke a shoveling
How the
snow.
fuck you break? Was it a plastic shovel? Had to be, right?
No, bro, this was a heavy duty flat shovel that I had broken.
You broke the wood piece.
But I had reinforced it with like these metal like pipe I can't pipe tighteners basically. And so like I've had it for a long time, and yeah, I hit like something really hard and tried to like yank it, and it literally just went crank. And I was like,
you broke the wood piece.
I was just bro. And then it was after a day of like disappointment already. And I was like, ah. And so but it's all good. I did maybe toss it a little far. And
I'm sure you yeeted that bitch, bro. 100%.
Yeeted it so fucking hard. But I went and got a different shovel, so we're good on that now. And yeah, we got some chains. I got some new chains for the car, some actual like chains, not the I had like chain cables. There's different types of chains out there, apparently, if you don't know. And fuck around and find out. I fucked around and I found out. And so now I've got the right chains. So anyway, enough of our boring shit. Let's get to why we're here. The actual reason why this podcast exists, which is fucking combat sports. And the main dish on combat sports this week was not the UFC, was not Bellator. It was Mr. Jake Paul versus who we got?
Tommy Fury.
Tommy Fury. Which
Tommy
Cocksucker. Which everybody said.
Before you continue, So I've watched a lot of porn, as most people would probably assume and or know, right?
I think most of our
when I was younger, right? When I was younger, I was
heavily too.
There was this thing, right?
Embarrassing.
They were like oddities, right? Like they were like these oddity porn. Like I was like on fucking like Reality Kings, and they had like the woman with 2 vaginas, and there's a guy, right? There's a guy. His name was Tommy.
Wait, is this Reality Kings or fucking
Reality
Thailand,
Kings?
Dude?
This is really Reality Kings. And there's a guy. His name was Tommy Two.
Talk about Phuket.
The motherfucker's name was Tommy Two Cocks. So whenever I hear the name Tommy, like I go back to seeing that porn with Renee Cruz. The dude that she fucked had 2 cocks, one in her ass and one in her cunt.
We had
Tommy Two Cocks.
We had 2 listeners. They just spotted. They just fucking yachted out of here, dude. We had 2 people and they just went later. Okay, bye. Yeah. Totally. Fucking Tommy Two Cocks, bro.
Tommy fucking Two Cocks, bro.
Well, Tommy Two Cocks got it done, bro. And everyone said that Tommy Two Cocks wasn't cock enough, bro. They said a cock was too small. But Tommy Two Cocks summoned the Fury name. And, bro, this guy actually showed up and fucking boxed. So, which I don't think Jake Paul planned for. And if you're a Jake Paul fan or Jake Paul teamer or whatever, definitely not the fight you wanted to see for your boy. Definitely put a little pop in a couple of those balloons. That he's been riding on.
100%, good sir.
But it's what we've been talking about this whole fucking time since day one of this fucking this circus show. It's been like, okay, well, he still is like, oh yeah, I'm a boxer, and who hasn't faced any fucking boxers? And lo and behold,
though he can box. He can box. He
we
can
didn't say he
legitimately
couldn't box, but I'm saying him and these claims and everybody else is dick riding him and be like, man, this guy, like, well, who knows? Maybe he could do all this. Be like, because he did beat, he beat fucking a couple of our heroes, and we were like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But it's just like, and I think he did like kind of, he winked a bunch of people. He did for sure. But it's like we always said that. It's like, dude, if he gets up in front of a real fucking boxer, what's gonna happen? Probably what happened in that fight. You know what I mean? Which was he got outclassed. You know what I mean? He definitely looked like an amateur in that fight for sure. Whereas at every other fight, he
don't think dude,
he
honestly,
looked good.
I don't think he looked like an amateur because, bro, trust me, I've been in the gym, I've been around boxers. He's thrown 5 years worth of training, like legitimate. Like he's not doing all his YouTube bullshit no more. Like he's legitimate.
No, he definitely, dude. He had a really good jab too. Like he had a couple good counters. I'm not saying it, but he definitely got exposed as far as concerned as the lack of skill, concerned as comparable to most boxers in WBC or who are ranked or whoever. I mean, you know what I mean?
Sure.
To me, that was like, okay, stick to MMA guys who are done. Like stick to that. Go fight KSI. Go fight Nate. You know what I mean? Like, why your product is, hey, I'm a boxer who fights MMA fighters and fights retired guys and all this stuff. So why are you gonna go pick a fight with a guy who's now ranked WBC fighter? You know what I mean? Like,
well, he wasn't ranked either. He got into the rankings because he won.
This makes me feel like if he would have fought Raheem, damn, like he would have got fucking mopped.
He might have. He might have gotten mopped, especially because, well, not necessarily actually, because the one thing I would say is that Hasim Rahman would have Junior rather got to emphasize that would have he would have cut a lot of weight because he normally fights at
right. That was a big thing about it.
And they wanted the contracted weight was 200 pounds, which is cruiserweight. So he would have cut that weight. Jake Paul would have had the speed advantage, would have had the not necessarily the size advantage, but the pounds advantage, like in terms of how to use his weight, how to use his body frame, agility, things of that nature. So I can't say that he would have gotten mopped. Different power level, different skills. Jake Paul, we forget that Tommy Fury, he's, as Angela put in our group chat, he was 7-0 before the fight, and his combined record was like 24 and like 173 and 1 draw, right? Hasim Rahman had a record of 14-3, but he faced a lot stiffer competition, so he has a lot more experience. He's got that pedigree because of the fact his father was a former world champion, Hasim Rahman. Tommy Fury gets to lend his experience to being in Tyson Fury's various camps and being in his different rooms. But I mean, he didn't really, I can't say he necessarily grew up with that per se. He did, but it's a different level of where you grow up and how you're produced. I think Tyson Fury would you say Tyson Fury is even that hands-on with Tommy? I don't think he's that hands-on with Tommy.
I feel like
Junior was produced very much so by his father, and seeing his father, learning his father, seeing those great heavyweight fights that his father had. And so it's a different pedigree altogether.
Is
So
Tommy the same? Is he all the brothers from one mom?
Whoa, 17 guys. Check that out.
It was at 23 at one point. I was gonna say you didn't catch it, huh? That's when my eyes were getting big. All right.
Holy shit. MMA Joey. Look at these comments. MMA Joey.
All right, hold on.
Joey.
Okay, before you derail us and get a bunch of comments, let's get back on track here for a second. Look, I know what you're saying. I think that Jake, I don't know, because at the same time, the more and more I go back and think about it, he is definitely adding validity to the fight, but at the same time, it's validity to his career, not the fight, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. I thought Tommy Fury, even though, like you're saying, I don't know if he was, getting trained every day by, John and all this stuff. I don't think so. He's not getting the same kind of attention, you know what I mean, that obviously Tyson is. And he's not ever going to be on that level, and clearly not showing the same level of dedication to boxing at all that his brother has. But imagine if he had, you know what I mean? Like he would show that level. Obviously, he's got some fundamentals there. I don't know, how hard they went for this you know, I don't know how hard he went, how hard. Seemed like he kind of did take Jake kind of lightly. You know what I mean? He did get caught a couple times, but nothing crazy. But yeah, I think for sure, Fury just was there quicker. He understood the ring better. You know what I mean? Like he requested that ring size specifically.
Yeah.
There was a reason for that. I don't think it was a good idea for Jake to agree to it. You know, and then same thing with he just was moving around the ring a lot more efficiently than Jake.
He had
Jake
so much swagger and
times
confidence
where he was like almost stuck. You know what I mean? And then exactly. In about the fourth or fifth, the Fury just started catching a swagger. You know what I mean?
No,
almost like
a swagger early on. No, that's
but it wasn't working. It wasn't working. In the fourth or fifth round, bro, he really started catching Jake, and he stopped being scared of him altogether. You know what I mean? It was like a totally different guy.
To me, Jake wasn't scared. Sorry, not Jake. Tommy was never scared of Jake the entire time, right? For me, the first 2 rounds, easily Tommy Fury. The swagger was on from opening bell. As soon as he caught him with a couple punches from the opening first few minutes, he had that swagger. Round 3 was easily a Jake Paul round, no doubt. Round 4 was a very close round. Round 5 to me was definitely a Jake Paul round. And then 6 and 7 were very close as well. You could have given it to Tommy. Some people gave it to Jake, but I think Tommy might have edged him because one of the things that Tommy did so well was he counterpunched. He was so good on counterpunching. He was able to, with his timing, as you mentioned, he had his timing down from fairly early on. He was able to time Jake in, and credit to Jake, he was able to slip a lot of punches. I've mentioned that in our group chat. Jake has really good head movement. He's drilled head movement well, but his timing was definitely off because whenever he'd come in, right, he'd come in with a jab or he'd come in with an overhook, Tommy would hit him on a counter at that moment or at the same time or a couple seconds, like, you know, very, very small windows where he'd pop him with a jab, pop him with a straight to kind of push him back. Then Jake would have to reset. Tommy would still have his I guess you can say the ring generalship from that standpoint because he was still in control while Jake had to reset. Once Jake reset, then he had to come back in, try and find another opening. Basically, Jake had to continue to work throughout the fight to try and find his openings, and Tommy Fury just used his timing that he had against Jake to be able to pick him as he wanted to. And Jake, credit to him, also he got a couple shots in, he got some crosses in, he got some hard jabs in, but nothing ever really stunned Tommy. Even the knockdown in the 8th round he wasn't really stunned. Some people are calling it a trip or a slip. He got hit with a punch, he went down, so by definition that is a knockdown, but he was never really in trouble. To me, the story was really about Tommy Fury being comfortable, having that confidence, and having that timing.
Yeah, he did. He definitely had the timing, and he definitely had it all down. Like I said, I don't know if it was so much Fury was skilled as it was also Jake. I think was just still, you know what I mean. He's still just catching up. You know, and it's going back to, you know, what it was. It's a great fight for Tommy Fury. You know, they're talking about this rematch. I don't want to see it. I don't think anybody wants to see it. You know, even in the comments, you know, a couple people are saying, you know, like Mike Perry, you know, versus him and stuff like that. But see, that's where I think he needs to go. Somebody like do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like the Nate Diaz fight's still there, even though it's weird. Looks like him and Logan are kind of beefing. You know what I mean?
What did you think about that? Let's back up when you mentioned Logan Paul. What did you think about? I thought it was so fucking disrespectful.
I thought it was fucking on brand, and
of course it's on brand. Of course, people like the trolls are gonna fucking love it. All the fucking social media kids are like, yeah,
it just made it. Yeah.
You don't hear it. Bro, there's a time and a place for shit talking. Being on a live mic in an arena isn't that time, dude.
Hey, that guy shut him down though. That guy was like, "Hey, get the fuck out of here with that." You know?
No. Yeah, because it's super, bro. Like that's the thing about martial arts, and boxing can be considered a martial art. There's a lack of fucking respect, bro. And I get it that it's the brand of the Paul brothers to not show that outside of the ring. Purely after matches is when they really give their props and their respect. But you don't do that, dude. On a live open mic, you don't say like, dude, you're a bitch, your family's a bitch. It's great for fucking for social media. It's great for the fucking trolls to laugh at. It's great for your fans in a way, but it doesn't do anything whatsoever for the sport. That was so like off color for that to fucking go through, bro. That irked me.
Hey, guys are commenting right now. We will get to questions at the end of the show for sure. But
Yeah.
I'd like to see what you guys think about that. You know, was that fucking disrespectful? You know what I mean? Like, because that is, I know what you're saying. I kind of thought the same thing too. I was like, damn,
Super disrespectful, bro. And
talking
as
fucking
soon as
shit
Logan said that,
right on fucking
if
Fury in the
I had
middle of
been
the ring,
watching
I'm like,
live, because I didn't watch this live. If I had been watching live and I heard that, I would be praying to the gods that Tommy Fury would find that punch that he connected with fucking Tyson Fury with, just so fucking we could see Jake Paul just get fucked up.
Maybe
And it
that's
wouldn't
what he
be
was
his fault.
wishing.
It would be 100% his brother's fault for being a fucking dick. Straight up, dude. Like, good God. There was one pertinent question that Stylebender asked. How did you score the fight? I know. Did you score it at all?
I didn't score it. I don't know. Like, you know, I didn't really like. I gave it. I thought Fury won a unanimous decision. I didn't think it was a split. I thought the split was just like a courtesy to Jake. You know what I mean? But yeah, I had him winning the fight, like the whole thing. I watched it from front to there wasn't a second I thought he didn't win the fight. You know what I mean?
I thought the same thing. I tried to score it. I'll be frank with the viewers and the listeners. I fell asleep in the middle of the 6th round and was like on and out of sleep for between the 6th and the 7th round. So I didn't get to score those, 100% the way I could have.
Yeah.
From what I did see in both those rounds, they were definitely close rounds for me, same as the 4th round. And the 4th, the 5th, and the 4th, the 6th, and the 7th are really the keys to determining how you scored the fight. Because to me, 1 and 2, easily Tommy. 3, easily Paul. 8, easily Paul. So you got 2 and 2 going. That's out of half the fight. That's 4 rounds. So then how do you determine the other rounds? Round 5, I think, was a Tommy round. So you give him that edge 3-2. How do you score the final 3? 6 and 7 and 4. Right. So some people gave it to Jake on 4. Some people gave it to Tommy on 4. I think the consensus was Tommy was playing good defense in those fights while Jake was trying to search for an answer, trying to search for a couple good opportunities to score points. So do you credit Jake's offense and progressive fighting, his forward style, or do you credit Tommy not absorbing anything too crazy? Tommy did get hit with a couple punches, but again, same thing. Because of his timing and his effectiveness and his control and his confidence, he was also able to hit Jake with a couple things. And again, same thing. Made him reset, made him have to redo all the work that he did to get in there to try and find that opening. He had to rework to try and find another opening. So how do you effectively score that? I still think, as in terms of effective boxing, Tommy Fury won that fight based off of effective boxing. But make no mistake, this wasn't a wash. I think Jake Paul did he had a really good showing in terms of a fighter of his similar skill set. Now, we can go, and we will in a moment, talking about if he had won, like where that places him, because now Tommy, because he won, is in the rankings. So, and I do want to get to the co-main that you did not watch, because there's a point that I want to make for that. But any other thoughts or ideas in regards to Tommy and Jake?
Well, I mean, and like, you know, somebody brought up in the comments, like, you imagine though if Jake had won, and it's like, yeah, I can't even imagine if Jake had won. He'd be fucking like it like kind of almost like how KSI reacted. KSI reacting like such a bitch. You know what I mean? Being like, hey, and somebody asked too, like, why the fuck are we bringing down the Jake Paul fight? It's the most exciting thing that happened this weekend. Like, if you want to try to tell me UFC was more exciting than that shit, then I mean, go for it. You know, there was a couple fights on the card that were good, but
Jake Paul's fight transcended fucking sports, dude. Like you have for what's it called? Skip and Shannon. Skip and Shannon broke down that fight. I didn't see first. I imagine they broke down that fight. Jake Paul, unfortunately,
it's just fucking sports. It's combat sports. You know what I mean? It's just it's part of it. You know,
bro. He transcends that. Jake Paul and all that he's accomplished, and credit to him, all that he's dedicated to the sport, because he's legitimately dedicated himself to the sport, has been able to fucking transcend it to be able to provide more mainstream coverage. I can tell you right now, there's not that many fighters that get that type of exposure on national sports news, right? You got your Canelos, your Tysons, your Deontay's, and that's really those 3. And when you really think about it, that there's really those 3, and maybe your Triple G, right? Maybe your Triple G's.
Big drama show
about it. I can tell you a bunch of other boxers that deserve mainstream coverage, but they just don't get it, because that's just the way that society is. Everything is on MMA. Everything is on specifically the UFC. You don't ever hear mainstream whatsoever in regards to Bellator or PFL or One Yet. You don't get any of that. So the fact that you have Jake Paul, the YouTuber, transcending that sport and providing those eyes,
and Disney Kid.
and yes, Disney Kid. Regardless, though, he is he's a benefit for the sport. And I remember when we first started talking about Jake Paul, and I used to just want to vomit in my mouth when I say that. But
Yeah, that's why it's hilarious. You're such a dick rider now.
I'm not a dick rider. And you know, the other thing too, I will dick ride him on this. He is
ride his dick.
I am.
He's just right down there in Puerto Rico. You could just jump on a plane and
Dude, no, he's been a
calm down.
godsend to women's boxing, specifically to Amanda Serrano, the 7-division champion. Not many people knew who Amanda Serrano was. I had heard of her briefly, and I watched boxing. I had heard of her in passing. I didn't necessarily know her entire history. Once she got with Jake Paul, she has blown up. Jake Paul has used his clout to blow up Amanda Serrano. So Amanda Serrano gets her flowers. That's why she and Katie Taylor, because I went to that fucking fight, and it is the best live single fight I've ever been to. Her and Katie Taylor in Madison Square Garden, April of last year, by far. And I've been to Conor McGregor at UFC 205. I've been to 9 different UFCs. I've been to 3 other different boxing venues. And in terms of a singular fight, it was the best fight ever. Yes, credit to the boxers because of that, but you also have to credit Jake Paul and his marketing and his promotion skills and who he's worked with to do that. He is a net positive for boxing when it's all said and done.
Yeah, we get that. But you know, if you can't be a good a championship boxer, surround yourself with them, right? You hire,
sure.
You bring them in. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
I can't be that good, but I'll have good people around me.
Crab.
I saw that laugh so hard, dude. That made me laugh so fucking hard. Jake Paul by Boston Crab.
David Benavidez and Caleb. Yep, that it will be a good fight. That will be a good fight. Benavidez and Caleb Plant will be a good fight. I got to get Andy.
Look, my last thoughts on Jake Paul before we move on. You can hit on this co-main real quick if you want, but my last thoughts on this. Yeah, let your boxers stick to boxing, like, you know, and let what you're doing, which is selling a circus show and doing pay-per-views and stuff. Keep doing that. Just keep fighting fucking guys who aren't boxers. Don't keep fighting boxers because you're gonna keep getting fucking murdered.
I think he should.
Going up the ranking. Tommy Fury is the lowest of that whole tier of guys we're talking about. I can't even imagine him against someone in the top 10 or top 5 or whatever.
Jake Paul should fight boxers.
That's all I'm going to say on it.
No, listen, Jake Paul should fight boxers, but Jake Paul should do the Tommy Fury.
Why should he fight fucking boxers, bro? You can't beat him. What are you talking about? He shouldn't fight boxers. He'll just keep losing.
I have confidence Jake Paul could beat a guy who's like 1-15.
I have confidence. Well, fucking, I wouldn't put your confidence very high because that's fucking insane.
Listen, if he wants to be a legitimate boxer, that is the path that boxers do. Unless you're like
he just tried the legitimate boxer path. It did not work, bro.
Tommy Fury isn't that bad of a boxer. He needs to go with the journeyman the same way Tommy Fury did. That's what all boxers do.
But Tommy Fury's got 8-0, 4 knockouts against other boxers. Jake Paul's got fucking what? 3 knockouts?
You're missing my point. You're missing my point in terms of how normal transition within boxing go from amateurs to pros. Unless you have a specific, unless you're a prodigy, right, where you can go like a Vasily Lomachenko, right, when he came out of the Olympics and they started putting him with heavy hitters early, and that's how he got to be a world champion at 3-0. He was a world champion, a legitimate, not bullshit world champion with a record of 3-0. But the majority of other average boxers will face journeyman, right? It's your professional debut. You're facing a guy that's 0-2.
Jake Paul's not a boxer. Right?
He's a boxer. What the fuck is he?
Bro, he's not a boxer. He's a promoter. He's a fighter. He's an athlete. He's a YouTuber. He's a content producer, whatever. But this thing of him being a fucking real boxer, I'm done. I'm not buying anymore. I'm not marking. I'm fucking. I'm sold. It's over. I'm not sold.
I disagree.
I can't. I'm not. Him losing to Fury removes all his credibility as a real professional boxer. It just does, unless he comes back and rights that wrong, or he goes on and beats another boxer. But I mean, like I said, if I'm him, fucking get the fuck out of the ranking system of WBC, bro.
He was never in the ranking system, and he probably won't be in there.
He was about to be. If he would have won this fight, he would have been in the ranking system, which is another fucking thing on like. To me, I'm like, hey, boxing. You know what I mean? Like fucking take it
Honestly,
easy.
if he had gotten in the if he had
Fugazi
won,
Fugazi's belt.
if he had won and gotten into the ranking system, at that point, there's truly really no more celebrity fights. He's gonna end up doing the path that I just mentioned. He's gonna be facing the guys that are like 1-1, 3-6 to try and keep those stats up because he would be nowhere near a title opportunity. Right? Even if he would have ended the rankings, he would have never been anywhere near that. But you have to progressively jump up in competition, and you have to
That's not what happened.
slowly.
And now Tommy Fury is the champion or whatever he is, and now he's going to be ranked. So we'll see the next fight. Let's move on. Give me what was up with the co-main. How was the co-main?
The reason why I wanted to bring up the co-main, it was Badu Jack and M'Baku, right?
That's right. That's right.
It's M'Baku, I believe his name is M'Baku.
Hulk Lings goes, if you don't stop with the YouTube boxing, you're getting Boston Crab round in the first fucking round, in the first minute.
Let's go to the comments before I do that real quick. I do want to say if there's anything that come out. So Vinny G.
Well, there's a lot of comments. There's a lot of don't go through all the comments. Wait till the end of the show. I'm gonna go through. We already went to a lot of the comments that were regarding the segment.
Tommy did, we said that Tommy worked his jab well. We talked about Mike Perry joking around.
Dude, just go to your fucking. Tell me your co-main. Tell me about the co-main.
Highlight this because we don't get this very often. All right. Anyway. All right. So, what's it called? So it was what's it called? Jack the Ripper, right? Badu Jack versus M'Baku. Badu Jack came in as the challenger to M'Baku. I keep calling him M'Baku, but we'll call him M'Baku.
Hey, go with that, man. Go with it.
You know? Guy from what's it called? Black Panther. Anyway, so the champion M'Baku hadn't had a fight in 393 days. Badu Jack has been fighting consistently. However, the champion had won his last 10 fights by knockout. So a lot of people, I don't know why this was, but the line was skewed heavily in the champion's favor. No idea why that was. So Badu Jack came in with a solid game plan because he was a little bit undersized and compared to M'Baku because this was I believe his first or second fight going for cruiserweight, and he managed to win an eliminator to get the title shot. He was able throughout the rounds to be able to be quicker, similar to what happened with Tommy Fury in terms of using timing, using agility, using presence. And he was able to dominate that fight for the majority of the fight. From about round 2 or 3 on, he was able to dominate, knocked him down in round 4, knocked him down again in round 11, finished him very fucking comfortably, very decisively in round 12. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up, credit to Badu Jack, congratulations, he's the world champion. This is in the cruiserweight division, the same division as Tommy Fury and fucking Jake Paul. And while I'm giving Jake Paul his flowers in terms of being a legitimate boxer, and you're not, but it is.
You really are. You really are. You're
Tommy Fury obviously is a legitimate boxer.
You're breaking out the
to say that these guys would be anywhere close to that championship level is absolutely fucking asinine when you really think about it, bro. Like the measure of class between really those guys between our main event and the co-main event is like, it's so goddamn large, dude. And so that's why I found it laughable that, they're going to be ranked in the WBC rankings that they win. But, bro, the amount of talent and the amount of skill that gap is between that bottom tier of the division of the ranking and that top tier champion now, Badu Jack, is fucking night and day, dude. Like, if they would have gotten in with either of those guys, they would have been ripped the fuck apart.
I mean, you kind of ripped apart. It's one of those instances where it's very obvious, like you're saying, especially if you have a boxing prowess or, follow it a little more, that those two guys are, and I mean, this falls in line with all the other cards that he's done. They put real boxers on before. I get it. You know what I mean? But I imagine that MMA fighters have felt like this before too, when you have, two guys headlining a card, maybe necessarily that aren't the best of the best, you know what I mean? But they're the most popular guys and they're carrying the card.
They brought the eyes.
And you have guys and there's guys on that card, maybe even on the prelim, who would fucking murder those dudes. You know what I mean? But it's
they brought the eyes to it. That's really what it was. They brought the eyes, and that's why they
brought the eyes to them. Well, and that same deal is you have those guys. Some of those guys, UFC will try to use those guys and push them on those cards with those bigger names, to try to build that. But that in itself is such a wide.
You have the real main event, and they always say you have the real main event, and then you have the people's main event. The real main event really was that WBC cruiserweight title match. The people's main event was obviously Jake Paul and fucking Tommy Fury. So,
Like I said, bro, I honestly how I just yawned just now, that was my reaction to the first round of the fight. I was just like, wow, okay.
Because you don't appreciate boxing like I do, bro.
No, bro.
You
I
don't
appreciate boxing. I don't appreciate fucking clinching. That's what I don't appreciate. I appreciate the sweet science. I appreciate
happens early on in every fight.
I appreciate all of that.
Timing.
What I don't appreciate is
distance.
Fucking this is hugging and then fucking the ref taking 3.5 seconds to get over there and go, all right, now let's break this up. Fuck that shit. That's why I like triangle. That's why I like triad combat and shit. It's just like, dude, the clinch shit, like it needs to be a second or two, not this fucking hug on me and bring me down shit. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to boxing.
Part of the game, dude.
Can't fucking do it. The game. Well, that part of the game,
and that was actually the strategy early on.
The whole hold you down and get points on fucking MMA.
No, that
part of the game sucks, and everyone needs to realize it.
But it's part of the game.
Just saying.
It's the same thing like when you get taken down and nobody does anything in
and
MMA.
that part sucks. I don't want to watch a guy fucking grab another dude and hold him down. Yeah, but it's a part of the game that's just like, maybe we need to fucking not make that a part of the game because it clearly sucks.
No. It's part of combat sports, bro.
But it's not combative. It's literally the reason why Jake Paul grabbed him is so he could fucking close the distance and he wouldn't have the ability to get hit. Why? Yeah. You're there in a boxing fight. Get hit or fucking hit or get out.
No, the point is to hit and don't get hit. The point is to hit and don't get hit. That's why Floyd Mayweather was 50-0 because he hit.
Floyd Mayweather didn't fucking get 50-0 by grabbing guys and hugging on him for fucking, 3 or 4 rounds. If he was
in a disadvantageous position, he would grab. 100%. He would
the
grab.
Dude was bro, not like that. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean. It's different.
So
that's totally different.
The early game plan. When I listened to the commentary, they had mentioned like they knew Tommy Fury was going to come out probably guns blazing, and they wanted to slow him down. So the clinch was legitimately part of their game plan.
I totally get it. I'm just saying it's a part of the game that I don't like, and I think it sucks. Just like this thing with MMA, with how you can fucking this is why I said, and I get shit for this, and I don't give a fuck. Khabib was a mostly boring champion. A lot of his title run was boring. He fucking grabbed guys, held them down, and all this stuff, and it was just like same thing with Michael Johnson.
You got to get up. You got to get up.
I get it, but it's a part of the game that I don't really enjoy, and it to me it's not super entertaining. You know what I mean? And it's not like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, you can hold me down, but what are you gonna do?
Bro,
you know what I mean? Like,
finish him. You deal with it. You deal with it. It's just part of it. Sure, you're right. I'm not disagreeing with you that it's boring. I'm not disagreeing with you that, oh man, it's lame to look at. But I don't necessarily be like, this is fucking trash. No, you know what? I can't say that. If I bought the card, if I paid $75
exactly
for it.
Yeah,
that shit, I would be mad.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm also thinking of that, like from the average fan's point of view, bro. You like spending money on the UFC, and
I go to the bar. I have my drinks. I have my food, so I don't pay.
But you still take the time with all the shit you can watch now. All the stuff you can watch, even all the other MMA show you can watch, which is why we're not even covering that fucking card really that happened this weekend, because it's just, dude, there's so much other shit. But it's like, of all the stuff you can watch, and you're gonna spend that, and then yeah, you might fucking watch like 3 matches where it's just literally fucking grappling, where it's just like, no, dude. That's why one doesn't just show you grappling matches, show you one grappling match, then fucking kickboxing. I also other stuff. There's a certain precedent.
Well, that's why we both grappling is the most exciting
more than any other part of the sport. Seems to have the ability to like really slow the fucking like the speed and the energy of everything down. You know what I mean? So unless it's like cum shot or Kobe, you know what I mean? But even Kobe could be like,
Kobe could be a little drab.
Kobe could be a little exactly. So again, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know. I know what you're saying. I just don't necessarily. I'm not as bothered by it the way.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I've become more bothered by it probably in the last few years.
You become more bothered by it because of Angel bitching about it every single time.
Well, no, I mean Angel. No, I can't. I'm not on Angel's level at all. Angel fucking does it. Angel, dude. If it's not fucking like,
bro, it's like okay,
Angel
good hands. Yeah. Oh, that was a wonderful takedown. Angel's like, fuck,
God damn it. Yeah, Angel wants blood sport, bro. He just wants bones. All right, let's.
BKFC. That's why we watch BKFC for bones.
Yeah. if you haven't watched the Jake Paul fight, go back, check it out. Watch the co-main event. Obviously,
If you love boxing, you must watch the co-main event because it is what boxing is.
Yeah. But let's move on. Let's get to this fucking card because I want to talk about this as much as all the other stuff that's happened. It's happened in the past. Let's talk about the future. UFC 285, my friend. Yes. Like possibly the biggest card of this quarter of the year. Definitely.
Well, this is the end of the quarter. So
John Jones, Cyril Gane. I mean, there's so much.
Gane. I hate when people mispronounce things. Gone.
Really? You mispronounce things every week, so you just
mispronounce
M'Baku. You just fucking said, really, Mr. M'Baku? Really? You fucking gonna correct me on fucking Gane? Hey, bro, Bon Gamin is all I got to say, dude. No, listen.
I'm gonna say it right for the sake of posterity. Makabu, that's his name.
Thanks. You're welcome.
Yeah, there we go. I corrected myself.
Yeah, good. Look, you dropped us to 2 listeners. Good job.
No, we dropped 2 listeners because we're like, all right, enough Jake Paul shit.
Yeah, for real. Like, stop talking about the Jake Paul shit. We start talking about Jake Paul. Everybody fucking jumps.
Dude, ridiculous.
Whatever.
Let's go back to UFC. 0 fucking viewers.
0 fucking viewers. Yeah, it's fucking great. No, but listen.
Hey, we should credit Jake Paul. He got 17 motherfuckers in this bitch.
Thank you, dude. Oh, bro, we had 23 in one point when you were going. You didn't even see that. I know.
I didn't see that.
But listen, let's get to this card real quick. Cyril Gane. This card is the card that shouldn't be. Let's be honest. This is the card that shouldn't be. This is, or at least the main event that shouldn't be. This is the main event that should be Francis Ngannou, who is the actual like heavyweight champion of the UFC.
He's the crowned, uncrowned champ.
He's not the uncrowned. He is the crowned. There is no one else
uncrowned.
Who has been crowned. Uncrowned. He is the lineal and current champion.
We should say lineal. We should definitely say lineal. And the UFC won't.
He is the lineal champion. There's no question.
I agree.
No question.
And UFC will. I bet you will hardly name drop him in this upcoming broadcast.
Dana can't even say lineal. He's fucking not even. Yeah, he's not gonna fucking.
Dana, spell the word lineal. Slap fight.
Yeah, dude. Don't wait. Calm down. Don't. That's your wife. Calm down, Dana. All right. But look, I think let's get to this main card. But it's the same thing. Francis Ngannou should be here versus Jones. That's the fight we should really be watching. I love how Jones is coming out and being like, oh yeah, fucking, Francis isn't, running away from shit. And I'm like, this same motherfucker who sat out of the fucking fight game for 3.5, 4 years, fucking just so he can move up to do a bunch of steroids and move up to heavyweight apparently. Yeah. But when it comes down to the actual fight there, sir, like the comments are suggesting, Mr. Jones there, I don't know, man. I think Cyril Gane has got a lot of potential, and obviously, and he's already had the title shot. And I think he's going to be in the top of the division for a long time, especially with the way he fights. But I don't know, dude. John Jones is just a different story. And if he's anything like he was in the light heavyweight division or anything like he was 3.5 years ago, and doesn't have too much ring rust, yeah, I see him. I could see him just finishing him. Honestly, I think he could. I think he probably can.
Jones will finish Gane.
I think he can TKO him, or I think he could probably even submit him, dude. To be honest with you, so I don't know. I definitely don't see the fight going the distance. That's for sure.
I do. And the key for me in terms of how the fight's going to go.
You see the fight going 5 rounds?
I see the fight going 5 rounds because of the fact that Jones has been working on his conditioning, but he also there's a what's the word I'm looking for? A transitional period that he's going to have to deal with in live combat in terms of his new body frame versus, trying to work out the kinks. It's like think of like a kid with a growth spurt. You know how it's like awkward when you first have a growth spurt. I think it's going to be kind of that way for Jones. The key for me is how he adapts to. He has adapted well to power. Gane isn't known for submissions, so I think Jones's best bet would be to try and get Gane on the ground and try and get him in a submission, since Jones is way more versatile from that standpoint. I think from a hand standpoint, Jones has the better skill set, but I think Gane can hang in with him. We've seen Jones not necessarily struggle, but not pull out. Or not pull out, but what's the word I'm looking for? Not it's not an easy out for people that have like those big hands. Gon has big hands, right? He can throw bones. So
he can throw bones at bones. Yeah.
he can throw bones at bones. You're right. So there's that aspect for it. And the other thing for me is how Gon deals with the awkward skill set, as I just mentioned, of John Jones. How does he deal with the oblique kicks, the teep kicks? Because that's kind of Gon's territory. Gon works his way with teep kicks
Hey,
and trying to do those.
He don't deal with it. He just fucking eats
You don't think
it.
he's gonna? You think he's just gonna eat him?
Yeah, bro. Look at what Francis did. All right, just saying. Now Francis has no real wrestling background. Okay, gotta remember, bro. Like at the end of the day, especially because of his size advantage now, dude. Jones is going to default and grab him. He's going to fucking Greco. If Jones feels a hiccup in the striking game, he will start to grab him. If he doesn't feel a hiccup in the striking game and he's just blowing Gane, sorry. If he's just blowing Gane away, dude. Yeah, I don't see him doing anything else. That's why I'm saying I could see him finishing it. I see him knocking him out. I don't see it going to 5 rounds. 1% Zombie said Jones in 4. I could see that too. I don't think it'll get out of the 3rd, to be honest. I think it'll be over in 2 or 3.
I think it goes.
Gane is not ready for Jones. He's not. It's not. It's one of those things where it's like, dude, it's like okay. It's like, remember GSP came back. What's up, Bob?
That talks to his cat or dog, rather. Sorry.
My dog. Sorry. But remember when GSP came back? GSP came back and everybody was like, well, not sure. That guy been off for a minute. Look what he did with, Bisping. You know what I mean? Not like he completely murdered Bisping, but he pretty much did. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. I feel like we're gonna kind of see a similar thing where Jones is gonna come back and he's really gonna, yeah, he's pretty big, dude. He's massive right now.
He is massive. Funny. I didn't mention this in the chat, but I watched him do pre-fight media. I watched him do sneaker shopping on Complex.
I saw that.
Did you see that? Yeah, he's looking pretty big. He looks like a pretty big boy.
I mean, he never was a small guy to begin with.
He's filled out. He's bulk, and that's one of the reasons why I took the 3 years off, because we can transition into that. And maybe in terms of me with that like awkward growth spurt like suggestion, maybe that won't play out. Maybe he's had that time to figure it out. Supposedly he's been training with these killers.
Dude, what happens if he loses though? Can you imagine? Fucking Dana's gonna be pulling the hair he doesn't have, bro. Can you imagine if he fucking loses and fucking John goes down and all this fucking time and investment and ignoring all the shit he's done and fucking he loses to fucking Gane? Like, I don't think it's gonna happen, but it'd be crazy if Gane caught him and just knocked him out.
I don't see that. I don't
see it either. He's not stupid.
No, Jones will not get knocked out.
Just saying, if it happened,
Gane's
MMA world would be on its head.
Gane's best bet to win this fight will be based off of his time, having better timing, having better.
His best bet? You mean Gane's best bet?
Yeah, so I said Gane's best bet.
Oh, you said
I said Jones. I'm sorry, I meant Gane. So Gane's best bet will be to be lighter on the feet, to have his timing impeccable timing. Takedown defense. He needs to have really solid takedown defense, because I think Jones's best bet will be the takedown. I just don't see Jones finishing Gane, because I think Gane is.
You think Gane will have better hands than Jones?
I don't think he'll have better hands, but I think he'll be able to withstand the punishment better than Jones will anticipate. Although I can't. Another thing to negate my point, when you really think about it in retrospect, is he did get wobbled by Tuivasa in that fight. So he has shown that he is somewhat. I wouldn't say he has a glass chin, but he 953. Sorry, I got a text message I was trying to do there. What's it called? He shown that he can be vulnerable if the shot is just right. But Jones has never really had like one hitter quitter power. I mean, maybe it'll be different with this heavyweight fucking body he has, but there's too many unknowns. I think in this instance, Jones, we would have learned so much about Jones had he had a tune-up fight. We would have been able to see how he's adapted.
This is kind of the tune-up fight if you think about it.
You can't call a championship fight, his first fight in 3.5 years, and the first fight in the division, a tune-up fight.
Sure, I can, because it's his first fight back, and the championship is kind of bullshit. So yeah, I can, and I did. And Gon is kind of his tune-up fight because of everybody who's in the mix-up. Well, I guess really Ngannou, not Ngannou. Ngannou's not in the mix-up anymore. But I was gonna say Ngannou would definitely be, I think, a tougher matchup, and so would Stipe. You know what I mean? That's the thing that we're all kind of skipping over is Jones versus Stipe is a real fucking.
That's what they're building.
The real dreamer matchup.
That is what they're building. That's what they're building towards. That's
no, it just sucks. Yeah, it'd be crazy. It's gonna be awesome though. To be fair, even though it sucks with, like I said, what's going on with Ngannou, but to see Stipe come back and like fight for the belt one more time, like that would be cool. You know what I mean? Like, because I mean, for real, I feel like he's kind of almost gotten forgotten about. You know what I mean? Like he has. You know what I mean? Like he literally was the
guy. But you know, it's also his fault. That's also Stipe's fault because that's also Stipe's fault.
Well, he's been fighting.
Refuses to fight for anything but a number one title or a world title.
He just doesn't care about all that shit.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to be. You know what he's doing? He's doing what people.
He's a Matt Hughes without the fucking domestic history,
without the train tracks, Junior.
Without the train tracks, that's right.
No, but he's doing what we criticize.
He sticks to tires. He's on fire trucks.
He's doing what we criticize. What Beneil Dariush and others like ourselves, we criticize the 155ers for. He's basically controlling his position, not wanting to be in a fight where he can lose that position to an upstart. Like, you know what would be a great fight for him? Not a great fight. Let me phrase that. You know what would be a great fight for us and a great fight for the division, but very bad for Stipe? Take your guess.
It'd be very bad for Stipe, great for Pavlovich.
Bingo.
Torpedo fire.
Fucking Sergey Pavlovich. You think that's a good idea for Stipe? Hell no, that's not a good idea. That's not a good idea for really anybody in the division. Which is funny that they had mentioned that he's the backup fighter.
Wait. Hold on. Back up. I just thought about what you said. Are you telling me right now you think Pavlovich, though, is going to like walk over Stipe or something?
I'll walk over him, but I don't think that's a good matchup whatsoever. I do not.
I don't know, dude. Stipe's a vet, dude. That would be
Stipe's a vet, but Stipe is more prone.
If Pavlovich could beat Stipe, just give him the belt.
You might as well, right?
I mean, that's the case.
If you know what happens, John Jones. You know what we need? John Jones wins the belt, goes on another hiatus. They make an interim belt. Give it to them. That's what we need, a real interim belt.
Oh my god!
Every single lineal champion that's not trying to fight boxing.
That's what these guys really are fighting for, is the interim belt. They're fighting for the fake belt, dude. That's fucking this belt. Yeah, that's the other thing too. It's
Francis
like,
needs to come out and whatever he does, whether it be Fury or Wilder.
Francis needs to buy a ticket to this fight and show up with his belt.
With his right. He should.
That's what he needs to do. He needs to buy a ticket to this event. Don't tell nobody, and fucking go there with three security guards and his fucking just come with that strap. And come with that strap, dude. You know what I mean? And just sit side and just whoever and just let him. That would be hilarious, dude. That would be so great.
Dude, you know what he needs to do?
Troll him like that,
bro. He needs to fucking get a media credential.
You can't probably fucking escort him out of the building. They'd probably be like,
100%, 100%,
fucking cunt.
100%, bro. But can't, they can't escort him if he's in a skybox. He could buy a skybox.
I bet you they could escort him. They figured out. All right. Well, listen. So obviously we're both going with Jones, right? We're both picking Jones.
Yeah, we're going Jones. I'm going with either submission at any given point. Not early on. I'm gonna say submission after the second round, or a unanimous decision.
I'm going with Jones too. I'm going with Jones TKO or KO, but I really hope that Gon knocks his ass out.
We both hope that.
I really hope so. That'll be so great. So, all right, moving on.
That's history too. Remember, I always go back to this when we talk about fighters. John Jones.
Yeah, but he's like the worst guy. He's like the worst person.
I know, but I was just saying, in terms of, despite his transgressions, John Jones is a historic fighter for the UFC and for all of mixed martial arts. So if he gets knocked out, it's in a similar position to Ronda Rousey. Where were you when Ronda Rousey got knocked out? I can tell you where I was at. I was at Ale House over by the Florida Mall. I was the only guy to jump on. I jumped literally on the fucking bar and was like, let's go. And everybody was like shocked because I was like the only person rooting for Holly Holm. Everyone was like, let's fucking go. I jumped on the bar. The manager came up. He's like, get down before I throw you out. I was like, okay, no problem, sir. No problem, sir. I sat my ass back down.
Immediately fucking sat down. You're like, oh my bad. Sorry.
Even though the fight was over, I could have just fucking left, right? Because whatever. I was like, but I go there often enough. I didn't want to fucking risk getting banned. But regardless, but my point is, where were you during these historic losses? When Canelo lost to fucking Bivol, where were you at? When Pacquiao got fucking face planted, where were you at? Right. You know, like these different things. So if John Jones gets knocked out, it becomes a historical moment in terms of combat sports and specifically in UFC. Where were you when John Jones got knocked out?
And Cyril Gahn will just become like the biggest hero. We'll just all be like, I mean, he already is pretty fucking cool guy. So,
and like you said, he'll still have the fake belt.
And he'll still have the fake belt. So
isn't that something? Isn't that wild? You knock out John fucking Jones, and people have the right to say that you have a fake belt.
Well, because he does.
I know, but isn't that's such a fucking wild concept, you know? You just
know.
knocked out.
Well,
you just knocked out
a wild concept that they just fucking letting
Ngannou go of the fucking of the sport.
Well, dude, it's a wild concept. They fucking let Ngannou go, let the fight go. I mean, for 2 fucking years, this has been the fight. I mean, what the fuck are we talking about here? That's why I said this fucking main event is the main event that shouldn't be. This is not the fucking. This is not the fight we deserve.
You know, when we make these remarks, it makes Angel's point of throw away the whole division seem a little bit more credible.
I agree with him. Almost 90% of the way. Torpedo the whole fucking division except for like 3 fucking dudes. Boom. See you later. Fucking Bellator bound. Yeah. fucking let him go beat Ryan Bader. All right.
A little bit Curtis Blades will ever be a champion.
Oh, 100%, dude.
They fucking torpedoed that shit.
Dude, I guarantee you, even if Blades went over to Bellator,
that's not on this
find
card,
somebody
right?
over
that's
there.
a main event for like one of the fight nights, right? Curtis Blades versus, I think, is it Pavlovich or who is it against?
It wasn't against Pavlovich.
It's Curtis Blades against somebody like significant, and we consider that the number 1 contender fight.
I don't know. Look it up. But hey, let's move on. Let's get to the co-main event. Like Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso for the women's flyweight title. I mean, obviously, look, the odds, the overwhelming skill set, the overwhelming history, the overwhelming everything is gonna fall and go to the champion, the incumbent Valentina Shevchenko, the bullet, the Russian assassin. You know, which yes, she is from Russia, by the way. We confirmed that hardcore Russia. So she's Russian. But yes,
Deep nuts are Russian.
Yay. But yeah, versus Alexa Grasso, which is a budding star from Mexico, a great prospect for the UFC. But damn, she has got a Everest to climb when it comes to
and she's not gonna climb it.
And she's not gonna climb it, I don't think.
Listen, you know? The only way I'll break this down like this. I'm gonna break it down like this.
A hard mountain to climb.
I'm gonna break it down like this. She doesn't. The only shot she has is 2 things: A, how much punishment she's able to withstand, and she's been in firefights.
Okay, yeah, it's a good one.
She's been in firefights before, so
that's true.
It's not out of the
not like this.
For her. Not like that. You're right. Not like this. But so this is a new.
Not where every punch landing is fucking hitting the mark. Or there's 90% of them.
There's that. I mean? And if she is able to withstand the onslaught, how much can Valentina withstand her forward pressure? Because Grasso is known for forward pressure. Always.
It's Valentina, though.
Well, I mean, it depends. There's all the different variables in a fight. Right?
If she puts forward pressure, she's just gonna get countered.
You're right. That's fair. To me, I'm thinking perhaps I'm perhaps thinking of the other variables. Like, what if she has a bad weight cut? What if fucking she gasses herself out for whatever reason? She just her stamina wasn't like on point, which I can't say that she's slacking. She never has slacked ever, so I'm not gonna fucking disrespect
Shevchenko or Grasso?
Shevchenko. The key for me.
Oh, you're wishing. You're
no. I'm just saying that. I'm just thinking of because we have to think of any like sort of like we have to grasp at some sort of straw.
Sure, she might accidentally trip and fall on the way to the octagon, or the cut man might open her up in the back accidentally. Yeah, I get it.
Wouldn't that be some shit, right? Somebody fucking just somebody throws a bottle at her and fucking scuffs her eye, and she's done.
She's done. They fight. She gets to the thing, and then she's all just like, fuck, god damn it. They're like, well, that's a pretty big cash to start.
Dude, imagine like she wins some bullshit like a fucking punch with the knuckle in the eye.
Oh, I could see. Yeah, I mean, look, these.
Something like
Well, it's a UFC. These things do happen.
They happen.
You know what I mean? It's not
But that's
crazy,
really
but
those are really the given points. Valentina's going to be much better on the top on the ground.
yeah,
Going to be much better
there's
in the
just
stand
nowhere
up.
where she's. I don't see
Valentina,
I don't see one fucking area of this
no,
fight where
literally, but
Grasso
in
is going to be
all of
able to.
women's MMA, you have Amanda Nunes, Valentina Shevchenko, Weili Zhang is maybe a little bit under them, and then everybody else across 3 divisions.
Who'd you put up first?
Amanda,
Okay.
Valentina, maybe like a little bit like here. Here we go. This way. Here we go.
Sure.
Like this. Maybe Weili, a little more under that. And then every single other woman across 3 divisions. We're not even counting featherweight because there's no fucking division. For the new viewers that we have here, I continue to say the waste of fucking code in the goddamn UFC website.
Did you see the rankings the other day?
It's a complete waste of code.
Did you see the rankings the other day?
For which one?
For the UFC. If you think that pisses you off, you should have seen the shit I sent Angel the other day. We were I'm looking at the rankings and someone from the UFC fucked up, bro. What? Everything was in Russian. And then like Russian font. And then, that's like and then they had fucking like they did what your bro, they fucking duplicated V cards. There was 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, and it was just fucking same name, same fucking ranking.
Bro, you know what that is?
Duplicated all for every fucking weight class.
Bro, you know what that is? The website developer fucking must have ate like an edible song for him and just passed that on the keyboard.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. So anyway.
Bullet in 2. I don't know about Bullet in 2.
Bullet in 2, yeah. I've got Shevchenko and 2 or 3 for sure, dude. I mean, KO.
I got Shevchenko in 3.
KO or fucking submission. It's finishing. It's not. If it goes to the 5th round, Alexa Grasso will never be the same.
She will never be the same. She'll get a massive prop. She'll also be heading to plastic surgery.
100%.
I've got Shevchenko 3 or 4.
Yeah,
we both got Shevchenko finish.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Next fight, welterweight. Geoff Neal versus Shavkat Rakhmonov, dude. And this is gonna be, I think, a tough night for Geoff Neal. I think he's gonna. I love watching Geoff Neal fight. He's normally very explosive. He's got very good snapping jabs, but Rakhmonov is going to grab him and smish him. So that's that, right? We agree? That's that. He's going to smish him. Just going to.
I'm not going to say that. Your point is very valid. That's probably how the fight's going to go. Geoff Neal is on a little bit of a roll, is he not?
Yeah, but dude, so is Shavkat, dude. This cat is. I feel like they're both on a roll, but I feel like Rakhmonov's roll is way bigger, and way heavier, and fucking way more based in fucking non-English speaking grappling. If you understand what I'm saying. So
has Rakhmonov dealt with striking of Geoff Neal?
Huh?
Has he dealt with striking similar or better than Geoff Neal?
Yeah, I would say he's dealt with it comparable. I mean, look, I'm not saying Geoff Neal ain't gonna land shit, but I just think if unless Rakhmonov sits there and tries to trade with him and do something crazy like that, he's never done that before. I see him going in there with a solid.
His last one was against Neil Magny by submission. Geoff Neal hits significantly harder than Neil Magny. Neil Magny has the various points to his offensive game, but none of that includes power.
But Neil Magny was on a roll too.
And yeah, you're right. Neil Magny was on a roll. I think it's how does Geoff Neal deal with the takedown attempts, and how does Rakhmonov deal with getting caught with like a perfectly clean Geoff Neal blow? That's going to be the key. I'm going to say Geoff Neal split decision. I'll differ from you.
That's crazy. You're not even going to have him. You're not even going to have him. You're not even going to have him knocking him out.
No,
I would assume if Geoff Neal wins, it's by KOing him.
I think he'll not. I think he'll win a split. I think he'll win a split decision. I think both men will have opportunities where they'll shine.
Look, everybody jumped off when you said that. No one fucking believes that.
Cue it. 103, 104 on the dot. No, 2 viewers came back when we made that. right? Like, fuck this guy, no credibility.
No, listen, his last couple wins, like he beat Luque, he beat Ponzinibbio, and he beat Magny. Neil did. So, you know what I mean? Neil,
Luque, I mean, those are
credible as fuck.
Very credible. No, super credible, but none of them have the submissions, the submission game is like, or the takedown attempts like Romanov.
None of these guys will even try to take you down. What are you fucking talking about?
Luque might. No, Luque would.
No, the only one would be Magny, and Magny fucking.
Magny likes striking more than he does the ground. Luque
now
can go to the ground.
Now
you're right now. When he fought back then, similar. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like you said, I have Rachmaninoff just smushing him, but if Geoff Neal does win, it'll definitely be by KO or TKO.
I'm picking Geoff Neal. Let's bet 5 push-ups on it.
I got Rachmaninoff by decision.
Okay.
All right, moving on. The lightweight bout. Mateus Gamrot versus Jalen Turner. I mean, you know where I'm going with this.
This is one of the highlights of this card.
Bro, this is the real main event to me.
This is an unsung fight. This is one of the highlights of the card.
Not the real main event. It's the real co-main, I should say.
It really is the real co-main. This really should be the co-main. But no, I'm lying. Third fight, because the co-main obviously is the championship fight. But this should be really the third fight. Yeah. Turner and Gamrot. Yeah. Gamrot came off of a great fight in his last fight against fucking what's his dick? Against Dariush. And even though he came off on a losing decision, he still pushed Dariush. In that first round, he had him against the cage. He had momentum going into that before Dariush figured out his timing and figured out the rest of his game to go along with that timing, and he was able to get the decision. So Gamrot didn't lose anything as far as I'm concerned in that fight. So I like Gamrot a lot, but Jalen Turner is one of the up and coming monsters of the fucking company, and I will agree with you. Jalen Turner. I'll go with Jalen Turner.
Yeah, I think Jalen Turner wins this. I think Jalen Turner wins it by knockout too. I think it's going to be a good showing for him. So, but okay, all right. Well, moving on. The next fight is a pretty monumental fight for the UFC. They've been kind of trying to push this guy. They've been trying to promote him, and he is possibly the biggest name in non-professional wrestling inside the US. So yeah,
Gordon Ryan. No, Gordon Ryan's jiu-jitsu. Sorry, never mind. My bad. Fuck that up.
Wow, how dare you, sir?
I just saw a white guy.
Grappling.
White guy grappler. White grappler.
Right. That's fair. But us grapplers, we were real pissed. No. Bo Nickel versus Jamie Pickett is a huge fight. Bo Nickel is going to be making his big main card debut. He did the fucking dirty work. A poor guy to fucking fight on that piece of shit Dana White Contender Series thing for like 3 or 4 fights. I don't know what he fucking took for pay, but hopefully he's getting it fucking now. Because he's risking a lot. But I do think that he will be victorious. I think he's going to pick up Jamie Pickett and slam him, and he's going to do those wrestling things. We'll see. I don't know if it'll be exciting. He's exciting his wrestling matches for wrestling, but kind of like how I feel about boxing. I'm sure you feel that way if you actually had to watch wrestling. It's kind of not that exciting. So let's just call it what it is. But it's very impressive is what it is. It's impressive, but it's not super exciting.
This is my smush fight where we know that fucking Bo Nickel is going to completely smush Jamie Pickett. Jamie Pickett's on a 2-fight losing streak. He lost via submission to Chris Dawkins. And he lost via KO to Lulin. Nice. In any case, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. He's a sacrificial lamb for Bo Nickel to make Bo Nickel shine. Someone that loves to see people fall. Definitely going to be rooting for Pickett.
I know, right? Me too. I'm kind of going to be rooting for him too.
I don't see a shot of him.
I don't see him
doing anything either. I've got first round fucking sub.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Yeah, I got first. I don't have first round sub. I have my unanimous decision.
You think he's going to take him the distance?
I do. Does this guy submit people? I've not seen him fucking do nothing really, right? Yeah. Did he submit somebody?
All of his finishes in the UFC have been by decision or by on the Contender Series were definitely fucking. I think he had 2.
No, he's got 1 win by knock. Okay, he's got 2 wins by submission. I'm sorry.
Yeah, dude.
He's not all of them, dude. I'm sorry. I mean,
And he's got power with that knockout
all right.
against a guy who's vulnerable to both. No chance.
Yeah, Jamie Pickett's got he's got 5 first-round finishes though.
Against lesser competition than a Bo Nickel that'll just fucking grab you and strangle you.
Yeah, I mean, he's fought against Dukakis. He's fought against Holmes. He's fought against I don't know, I'll say that guy's name. But okay, fair. Point taken. But yes, I don't think I agree with you. I see Jamie Pickett having a hard time with that. So all right, well, let's move on. Let's get through these last couple fights real quick. We're running up on time. The prelims, my, how the mighty have fallen. Much like his old nemesis and current commentator, Dominic Cruz. Cody Garbrandt is now headlining the prelim card against Trevin Jones, who is actually a fucking very skilled fighter.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do think that the UFC, because he's I think the UFC is thinking that Cody can kind of maybe make another run, but I mean, this is really, to me, this is like the final. This is like, hey, gotta win this one,
Yeah, no, 100%. You need to. The difference though, it's interesting because Trevin Jones is on a 3-fight losing streak, and while Garbrandt's on a 2-fight losing streak, he is the level of competition that Garbrandt lost to Kai Kara France, and Rob Font, 2 excellent fighters in their respective divisions.
That's very true. Yeah, that's true.
Trevin Jones lost fucking. Give me one moment if I can pull the fucking thing up. Why is it not? I want to go to fucking Trevin Jones. Click on Trevin Jones's name. Thank you. God damn it. And I just did this too. Barcelos and Basharat and Kakramov. So
right. Yeah.
I will say this to your point, though, as you said, in terms of Garbrandt, this is Garbrandt's final hurrah. I definitely think that this is a loser leave town match, to quote a wrestling term.
No, but I do think it's definitely, it's very important that he wins this fight and not lose it, and not.
Well, it also depends on the way he
interrupt, because it's not. I don't mean it like he's done. I just mean like he's on a 2-fight win streak. He does need this. If the UFC's hoping to give him another title run, you know what I mean?
Oh no, he needs this definitely for a title run. I think also it depends.
That's what I'm saying.
If Garbrandt loses, how does he lose? Does he lose via fucking firefight? If Dana loves firefights, he'll keep you if you're in a firefight back and forth, and you would just, you lost the person who was better in the firefight. That makes sense.
Not really. Darren Till just got cut.
Yeah, but Darren Till pretty much got dominated.
Yeah, but it's not like, but dude, it's not like the guy's not entertaining. You telling me you don't like to watch Darren Till fight? Like,
I like Darren Till. I like Darren, and that's a very baffling move. I do want to talk about that before we get off the show, but that was very baffling. But in any case, I mean, dude.
I mean, it's really not, but yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. I've got Garbrandt. I've got Garbrandt via decision.
I got Garbrandt via KO. But yeah, I see him winning that. But okay, moving on. Next fight, middleweight bout. We got Derek Brunson versus Dricus du Plessis.
Wonderful fight. Wonderful
fight. Bro. Blood Bronson. I hope Blood Bronson comes out. I really hope.
You already know who I'm rooting for. Don't even ask me.
Who are you rooting for?
I'm rooting for fucking du Plessis.
You are?
Hell yeah, I'm rooting for du Plessis.
All right, bro. I didn't know if you would be down. I didn't know if
I am down with du Plessis, bro. Especially with that comeback against Till when he was down and out in the first round, came back, fucking dominated him in the second round. The guy dominated him even more in the third round, got that submission win in a fantastic fight on it was like late last year. Blood Brunson, to his credit, he is on a fucking, what is he on? He just lost his last fight against Jared Cannonier. Tough fight. So
yeah, we remember in that. We remember Blood Bronson.
Beat Holland.
Great fucking
he was on a 4-fight win streak up until against fucking Cannonier. So he's got more momentum going into this fight. However,
Cannonier smashed that fucking momentum, dude.
Yeah, he smashed that. He's got momentum. He smashed that momentum.
Still one of my favorite fucking follow-ups.
Meanwhile, is on a he's on a 4-fight win streak from the event results that come up in the last 2 years. Or sorry, 3 years now, basically, if you want to say that, October of 2020. So this is going to be a firefight. Brunson's best chance is to take this on the ground, where I think he has an advantage over Duplessis. If he does not, though, I've got Duplessis via knockout.
Yep, I got Duplessis via KO as well. I don't see him being successful in taking him to the ground. I think Duplessis is going to catch him early.
Yes.
And I think if Brunson does try to take him down, unless he's very sneaky and crafty with it, which he hasn't been recently, he's been kind of just shooting, I think he's going to get caught. So.
And Duplessis can take a shot. Blood Brunson is known for his hands, and he can take a shot, as evidenced by some of his fights over that time span. So Duplessis isn't an easy out by any stretch of the imagination. I saw a recent picture of Blood Brunson, and he looks in phenomenal shape. So I don't think cardio would be an issue. It's just how does he handle the takedown? Or sorry, how does he what's it called? How does he do with the takedowns, and how does he deal with, again, same thing as I always like to say, forward pressure from Duplessis, power from Duplessis, and confidence. Duplessis is coming in there with supreme confidence. Not to say that Blood Brunson will not come in there with confidence, but there's different levels in terms of where they're at right now in their last few fights. And so, in essence, also, this is kind of a make or break for Derek Brunson, at the end of the day. I mean, Derek, what's his face? Izzy in particular, even though he's got his sights set on fucking Alex Alex Pereira, he's always wanted to fucking face Blood Brunson because that's the last guy out of that division that he hasn't waxed. So there is there is an incentive for Brunson to do well in this fight, because if he can capitalize on this fight, perhaps capitalize on one more fight while Adesanya is dealing with Pereira, he's got himself a title shot within no more than one other fight after this if he wins. So there is extreme pressure on Brunson. Meanwhile, Duplessis is coming up the rankings, as we had mentioned before. He's got a couple more fights to go before we can consider him for that. He's also got to show a little bit more in terms of his overall skill set before we can buy him as a viable challenger for that. But regardless, I think everything is really on Duplessis' side at this stage. So,
oh yeah, I agree with you. Okay, well, that pretty much sums up the 285 predictions. The rest of the fights, you guys can check them out. There's a bunch of shit still in the early prelims and stuff, but
the other two fights on the prelims are pretty good. Araujo and Ribas, that'll be a decent women's matchup. Julian Marquez is always fun to watch against Barry Holt, who's also a very fun fighter from Canada. So that card, starting from the TV prelims at 8 is going to be fucking definitely a must watch. I don't think I have any plans on Saturday, so I think my happy ass will be.
Surprised you're even acknowledging the women's flyweight division. Currently,
it's the best division out of the 3.
Okay. Okay. So yeah,
that's strawweight. My bad.
yeah.
I'm thinking. You're right. Any division with Valentina Shevchenko in it isn't a good division because Valentina is just so goddamn Valentina.
Okay, there we go. I was gonna say. So anyway, that's your UFC 285 breakdown. You want to talk about this Darren Till thing real quick before we buzz off out of here?
Yeah, dude. Like I was kind of baffled.
Rest in peace, Darren Till UFC career.
I was baffled by that. And we had mentioned that, it's interesting. I shouldn't be, because we had mentioned it on our podcast.
We mentioned it before.
I remember on the podcast saying that he could possibly be cut.
I said that. I mean,
I thought with his performance against Duplessis, I thought that would be enough to keep him because of the fact that it was such an entertaining fight, and Dana loves entertaining fights, and the fact that Darren Till, even though he didn't adjust well, Darren Till still looked great, at least in that opening round.
Where you're getting this Dana loves entertaining fights thing?
That's all he ever says.
That's all what Dana says, what Dana says and what Dana does is two fucking totally, completely opposite universal fucking things, dude. Like,
yeah,
that's not even the same fucking realm. Dana and the UFC, for the most part, have shown that they're completely kind of almost like gutless when it comes to guys, even guys who are like guys who take out late fights, guys who come and fucking you know what I mean, like take fights at last second and lose them, or take them and then don't make weight and fucking they get cut. Like that shit happens all the time. You know what I mean? We talk about that all the time. Remember when we first started the show, we used to fucking do, all right, guys who've been cut this week, because there was so many getting cut at that time. And then not as many now, but there was so many at one point getting cut, and you just be watching me like, this guy just won his last fight or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you look at Kobe. Kobe is a direct product of all that fucking philosophy over there. You know what I mean? Like, and like you said, yeah, he didn't have exciting fights, but there's plenty of guys in the UFC. Darren Till, case in point. I'm not surprised he got cut. I'm not surprised he got cut because of a couple things. I'm not surprised he got cut because one, he was on the skitter, and his prowess is running as a champion probably over. And so that's becoming a realization. To his own self-motivation doesn't seem to be there. I think him losing in the fashion he did was just probably utterly devastating. And I've been following Darren Till, like him and versus Ariel, the whole thing for a little bit, like on social media. So it's not like I know the dude, but if you follow him based on how he's reacted kind of in the past,
Tomorrow's MMA podcast will be good for Ariel. He'll talk about it.
Yeah, hell for sure. But I mean, like, you know, if you look at how he's reacting in the past, he's kind of an emotional guy. You know what I mean? And like, he kind of has like where he's motivated at. And I think, you know, he's not running with Kamzat anymore. It doesn't look like they're not like, you know, best bros anymore. So I don't know where he's at or and that's the other thing. Doesn't sound like he ever was like training super with like a dedicated team or whatever. It's kind of like hodgepodge around.
He fell into training contact because he was funny, probably.
Yeah,
and because
they probably were just friends. And to me, he just strikes me as somebody who never took his career like completely serious. You know what I mean? Like he was, dude. You got to think that guy was like
putting on 300 pounds after a fight, but
right. You know what I mean? Like that, but you know,
and he also did get injured as well. I think it was ACL.
Yeah, and he was
living
in Brazil. He's being trained in Brazil, living in Brazil, in fucking Muay Thai and fucking, you know, all this other stuff and kickboxing and shit, Vale Tudo. Like he was raised around that. He wasn't even like raised around his family and shit. So the dude's been fighting since he was a kid. You know what I mean? And like,
yeah, he was one of those guys that they had mentioned. They were like, oh, you know, the old days you used to train in a sport specifically, like whether it be wrestling or Muay Thai or boxing, and then over the course of time, you'd pick up the other things as you progress in your UFC career. Darren Till was one of the first guys that the UFC had who was specifically trained as an MMA fighter, where you had every single facet. He would train every single facet at his beginning gyms. And so that was one of his big headlines. They were like, oh, he's part of that new wave of guys that train specifically in MMA. Not one you know, the master of many, or sorry, what is it? Very good at many, master of none, something along those lines.
Yeah. Jack of all trades, master of none. You know? So yeah, no, it's I totally know what you're saying. But yeah, I you know, again, Darren Till, and then probably the third thing with him, I think, is, you know, him and the UFC maybe not seeing eye to eye. I don't know, you know, and then he had all that Twitter stuff. You know, he was getting banned on Twitter. He was saying a bunch of kind of inflammatory stuff. So I think, as we Caroline, ba, 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 it's so good.
So good.
I'm definitely going to miss that. You know what I mean? That because he was really the one that kind of brought that out. So I'm definitely gonna miss Darren Till in the UFC. Can't wait to see what he does. I hope he goes bare knuckle. Let's fucking go. So that would be that would be my
next logical spot. Him and Mike Perry.
Yeah. Hey, look, there was a comment I want to highlight real quick before we jump off. You kind of highlighted already, but you know, 1% Zombie said, I wish I could talk to my friends about MMA and boxing. None of them watch combat sports Saturday nights. I'm solo watching fights. It's kind of sad, LOL. Hey man, I feel you. That's how I felt before I met this guy and before I started jumping on to Facebook and getting on the MMA for Marks page, or we created that. But in this, you know, Sting Like a Butterfly is another MMA page that we have and that we belong to. And so if you want to reach out, go there, go check it out. There's a bunch of guys like us, MMA guys, boxing fans, and just everybody trying to talk to each other. But that's really the best way. I'm in the same boat. You know, I've got friends in my life, family, and very few of them are into fights like I am. You know what I mean? Very few people are into fights like I am.
I mean, so, I have friends that like know about the sports. Like they know about a lot.
That's where I'd go.
I bring them in with me sometimes, but not to the extent that Andy does and our group does. So, you know, definitely. I mean, hey, if you have no one to talk to, you found the right place, bro. We record more or less every Monday or Tuesday. So, you know, come hang out with us, dude. We'll be here.
Yeah, and we appreciate the comments. Sorry we can't stop and like read every single one of them. We were doing
that last week, and I ended up banning the fucking guy. Let me tell you the story. I didn't tell you the fucking story of the fucking guy, Guru the Pig. So Guru the Pig on last week's show, he was a great back and forth. He asked us some funny questions, derailed our show a little bit, but we didn't mind because it was the first time that we ever had real fan interaction.
You told me the story, but yeah.
This fucking guy, he goes, I just want to reiterate it. So I'm doing my podcast with Matt. Shout out to my boy Matt with the Talk to Kiki podcast, my anime podcast that I do every Thursday and or Friday here on the same WTOM network. And so he starts asking MMA questions, right? And Matt humored him at first. He's like, go ahead and answer his question, right? So I forget what the question was. It was something silly, right? And so I answered the question and he kept on going, right? And he asked another question. I ignored it. And he goes, what's anime? And we ignored that question. And we kept talking about the show. It was Matt talking about his show, right? And all credit to Matt. I love Matt. But when he talks, sometimes it's a little bit drab, just based off his voice and his excitement level on certain shows. And he goes, you guys would much rather watch cartoons than watch the fight. There's fights going on. Are you fucking kidding me? Now we're like, fucking block.
Yes.
We're like, fucking block. Because Andy knows, as much as I love talking about MMA with him, he knows my heart is with anime. My heart is 100% awesome. With anime. I fucking
we gotta have Pig the Guru on, dude. We gotta have him on as a guest.
I fucking cook him like bacon.
Yeah, dude. You can cook. Yeah, we'll get you and him could fight. I
try to unblock him afterwards. You can't. There's an option to put user in timeout. I didn't see that. I just did block.
You blocked him?
I blocked him.
You blocked the one guy who fucking gave you the most heat? Wow, man. Come on, dude.
Yeah, I thought about it in retrospect. I was like, damn, I look like a fucking sensitive pussy. But
yeah, for real. Not only that, but it's just not even just, you want the heat, bro.
If there was an option to kick people out of the session, I would love to do that instead if we ever got a dick like that. But like, bro, like there's time and place, bro. Like if you hear me
it's just one of those things where you gotta, it's like the thing, you gotta just ignore it. You know what I mean? If you can't, like, if that's how we're gonna be, if that's how the platform is, and when we do live, people can just comment. It's the same thing on anytime you can go live, people can just say whatever they want. That's why, like, hey, everybody knows you go to one of those live sporting event chat things, dude, the fucking live comments is just so
they're fucking off the rails.
They're all fucking Nazis, dude. They all wish Hitler won. Like, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, for real. It'd be like, oh, that was a nice. You'll see a comment like that was a nice hook by Valentino. You'll see another comment like, oh, John Anik sucks as a commentator. Still pertinent, right? And you'll see another comment like, I wish Hitler fucking fuck my dog and came in my fucking N-word mouth.
No, it'll be like Hitler lives in my basement and he ate my cat. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. Like, what the
and
fuck,
we reminisce how crispy it was. And you just I didn't want to finish the comment, but you get where I was going with that.
Yeah.
You know.
But anyway, well, speaking of comments, we should address a couple comments. There was one made by Hulk Lungs early on that he said, "Oh, hi, baby boy," and he said that my dog is the couple, kind of going crazy with all the snow and shit. So
I wonder who MMA Joey is because he brought us all this traffic.
He brought us a lot of traffic. Yeah, we appreciate that. Shout out MMA Joey. Well, hold on. The Hulk Lung said early prediction for Gaethje versus Vaviz, and I definitely want to address that. That's a great fucking question.
Where is that? I'm trying to find the comment.
It's up in the beginning. I feel like Vaviz has the ability to take down Gaethje. Will he is the question. I think Gaethje's a cannon wrecking ball, and I think that Gaethje, thanks for highlighting it. I think that Gaethje definitely can upset and destroy Faviz's rhythm and his ability to take down. We're going to see. This is really the fight where we're going to see if Gaethje really has that wrestling prowess or not. You know what I mean? If he really has that, or if it's just one of those things everybody talks about. So, I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. You know what I mean? I definitely, I got Gaethje. I got Gaethje by KO. Early prediction.
What say you? I was looking up MMA Joey. He's an actual guy. He's an actual legitimate YouTube person. So I guess he listens. That's awesome. Shout out to MMA Joey.
Shout out MMA Joey.
Yeah. Go follow his show. I don't know. We haven't watched it. We'll watch it now since
we'll go check it out. Yeah.
To go back to your point on Gaethje and Fiziev, Fiziev is on such a roll right now. He is putting everything together. He's putting everything together. But people forget Gaethje's first fucking martial art was what? Wrestling. He's a fucking all-American wrestler. Before he became the fucking knockout machine that he is, he was a fucking wrestler. And he doesn't tap into that enough. And if he did, he could dominate to the ways that he hasn't dominated before. And so with Fiziev, I think Fiziev is definitely going to test that from him because Fiziev is smart. Fiziev is going to definitely avoid the power shots and the striking of Gaethje. But I don't think it would be any sort of wash whatsoever for Gaethje to be able to handle his own on the ground against Fiziev. It's two different grappling styles in a way, but at the same time, I think that would be great theater to see them on the ground. It would
Yeah.
I think that, we talked about how boring the ground game can be. I think that would not be boring. I think that would be great theater because both would be jockeying for position. Both would be looking for side controls, mounts, not necessarily looking for chokes, but I think they would both be looking for finishes. Fiziev more would be looking for a choke, but I think Gaethje, if he were to get him on the ground, he'd be looking to reverse position or be able to be offensive if he's on bottom. I think that would be, it's a tremendous matchup as a whole. I am going to say Gaethje, but I 100% will be rooting for Fiziev. No doubt. I want to see, that new blood. And if Fiziev is able to take down Gaethje, that's a great indicator of where you're at.
My hero. Nope. He beat Jose Aldo. Fuck Fiziev. I can't.
Oh, God.
I can't ever fucking. And he beat him in the worst, most disrespectful way ever, especially to the Brazilian people. So I would never. No, dude. Fucking I hope he fucking bro. I can't.
But I mean, being objective, if Fiziev is able to beat Gaethje is one of the premier bar setters for a title shot. If you beat the number 3 guy,
Fight again, and who would you like to see? Someone in the top 10, I'd imagine.
I don't want to call someone, but give me 3 months, and I'm ready for fight again. Yeah. What's his name?
A zombie has
one legend here. Maybe he want to fight with me. What's his name? Yeah. His name Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn, dude.
You want to fight Vince Vaughn?
Zombie asked
Zombie called out. He said he called out Vince Vaughn. I totally forgot about that shit. He did call out Vince Vaughn live. I had to play that. I was like, dude, that's right. Of course, someone clipped that, bro. Oh, ESPN actually clipped it. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Will Bo Nickel be champ in 2024? That's actually a decent question. I don't see it.
What's his division? Lightweight?
Middleweight. I mean, if you look at, I was just pulling up the rankings right now.
Imagine him versus Kobe or Cumshot.
Middleweight, motherfucker, not 170. Middleweight's 180.
Middleweight is Cumshot's fucking middleweight. It comes out at middleweight.
He's still at
it's fucking Kobe. Kobe's at middleweight too. What are you talking?
Kobe's at welterweight, you idiot.
Oh yeah, I am an idiot. My bad.
It comes out still in the welterweight rankings, not in the middleweight rankings. He can fight at middleweight if he would.
He can't make 170. He's fat.
He probably will go up to 185, and that would be the money matchup for fucking sure. That should be either that should be the highlighting fight. That should be the main event of a fight night in an actual arena, not at the Apex, but an actual arena. But to answer your question, I mean, the road ahead of Bo Nickel is a unique one because of the fact that there's not anybody currently in the top 15 rankings of middleweight that can really wrestle with him to that extent.
Yeah.
I mean, there's great matchups for him. Assuming Duplessis wins, I would love to see him and Duplessis. I'd love to see fucking him and fucking Dolitze. Those are great matchups. Him and Hermanson, that wouldn't be a bad matchup. Chris Curtis would be a fantastic matchup too. I would love to see him and Chris Curtis. I would definitely love to see him and Chris Curtis because of that fucking. You heard that, right? You heard Chris Curtis?
Yeah.
Chris Curtis was fucking pissed. He's like, I got preempted by this fucking kid, fucking Bo Nickel versus me. I book that shit. Bo Nickel wins. Book him and Chris Curtis.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. Look, will he be a champ in 2024? I don't know, man. I mean, that's soon. I feel like we could only have a couple fights between there and now. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't think so. 2025 might be a different story.
He will be
Who knows what could happen. This kid can wash out. I mean, let's just be honest. There's been so many fucking guys coming to the UFC where they're like, hey, this guy. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's a big statement. Hey, I tell you what, 1%. ask that question again next week. Or I'm sorry, ask that question after UFC 285. Let's ask that question again. Come back to it because that's really when we're gonna need to know. Because we'll see what he does to pick it, and if he does what we think he's gonna do, then maybe the question that
I
answer
think
might
by
be different.
2024 he will be in title contention. I think he will have a title fight in 2024. Whether he'll be champion, there's too many variables at this stage in quarter one of 2023 to be able to decisively say that. I agree with your point, Andy. We can have this discussion again next week as a question, and we can see. I might be actually, something that'll be a highlight point that we should talk in the notes of that champion, because that'll be the first fight. No, that'll be the last fight we break down, because we always start from top down.
We'll bring it up
We'll
when
bring it up.
when we bring it up.
So stay tuned next week, Zombie, and we'll give you a better answer than what we give him. But my prediction is he will be in title contention in 2024. He will probably, if he's in that contention, have a title shot. But there's too many variables right now on the rest of the division. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, everything really falls on Izzy. Everything falls on Izzy more than anything else in that division, because he's the main staple.
That division.
Will Whitaker be around? We don't know.
That division is a mess right now.
It is a mess indeed. There's no joke. I mean, when you look at the division, the key is, like I said, with Izzy. Will Whitaker be around? I don't know. How will Cannonier look in a year or more, 1.5 years? We don't know. Vittori's Vittori. Blood Brunson's Blood Brunson. Costa probably won't even be in the UFC by then. Sean Strickland is just Sean Strickland. He should be in
Costa's not even in the UFC now, really.
He's really not in the UFC now. We have Delise. I think he would do well against Hermanson. If we'll see how Duplessis looks in another year and a half. That's another one. Imanov, solid background in terms of ground game. That would be an interesting matchup. Brendan Allen just jumped into the top 15 after beating Andre Muniz in an upset for UFC last week that we didn't discuss. And you have Chris Curtis. You have the beef there. So his first fight in the top 15 really should be Chris Curtis. And you have Kevin Gastelum at 15. I think he can handle Gastelum. So his first fight really in 2023 at some point within the top 15 definitely needs to be Chris Curtis based off of that initial beef. How he does against Chris Curtis and how he does, well, first off, like you said, let's see how he does on Saturday. Assuming he comes out of it with flying colors, put him against against Chris Curtis. If he beats Chris Curtis, we will definitely have an indicator of where he's at, depending on how he beats him and all of that and the circumstances around that. So potentially is the answer.
That's a good answer, and we'll end on that. You got anything else? I know we want to do a couple plugs and stuff, but I think we'll let it rest here. Good episode. Appreciate so much of the input. MMA Joey fans, thank you guys for coming so much. Appreciate it. We can't wait to return the favor, drive some traffic your way, and we'll come check out you guys too. I appreciate everybody following us. Hit us up on anywhere you get your podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, freaking name it. We're there. You know what I mean? Follow me at MMA for Marks, the official MMA for Marks Facebook page. If you're looking to do a little more, just co-mingling, meet some other guys out there, gals too, who are in MMA. Like I said, Sting Like a Butterfly Facebook page. Check it out.
If you add us, let us know. We're both admins, right? So we should be able to add you.
Yeah, well,
let us make a post on the comment like, "Hey, we heard about this page from the MMA for Mark page from Andy and Ethan."
Yeah, they know how it works. They get it.
Let us know.
So we'll get to it. And then if you got questions, MMA for Marks at Gmail, go ahead and you could email us. You also could just drop a comment right here on the Facebook page or on the YouTube channel, whatever. We'll get to it. Try to respond back to you. If we don't, apologize. But we'll get to it.
No, we'll get to it, dude. Because even if you send us a comment, then freaking what's it called? We'll answer it on. We could again toward the end of the segment or
I've been without a phone and stuff like that. So but yes, we'll definitely get to it.
We'll get to it, dude.
What you got going on?
Yeah, shout out to Sean with W2M Network. We appreciate
you
guys hosting. Yep, appreciate you guys hosting. Shout out to the W2M Network in general. If you want to catch anything, again, I do a podcast with my boy Matt, Talk the Kiki podcast. We record every Thursday or Friday. We have Mark Radulich, who talks about movies and boxing. We have Sean himself. He talks about gaming. He talks about soccer. So we have a wide range of variety on there. So if you want to check any of those pages out, you can go onto the W2M Network page on YouTube, on Twitch. on Twitter. Follow them on there. You can follow us, as Andy said, on all of our social medias. You can follow me on Twitter at SHOSTOPPA24. That's Showstopper24. You can follow him on social media at MMA for Marks. I have my podcast Instagram at podcast.senpai. And for all of our link or all of our profiles, or at least all of my profiles, we have a link tree where you can follow myself, Andy, and all of my personal other endeavors. So yeah, dude, let's wrap this sumbitch up.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Matane, motherfuckers.
If there's one thing I know for sure, it's that I know nothing.